time is it in the weather in Atlanta? It's about 1 some a.m. Thought I'd talk to y'all, see what's going on. There's a lot of interesting things I saw on some recent interviews. I'll wait for y'all to come in though. Chop it up with my people. Nothing quite like the Pugilism Planet over on this platform, man. I really enjoyed chopping it up with you guys. Any time of day, any time of night, we can chop it up, y'all. I was watching Andre Ward on All the Smoke podcast, and he had on David Benavidez, man. It was kind of interesting interview. He's talking about Canelo and how he was offered, Canelo and them offered him like what was it? What do you say, like 5 million, and they didn't think he would accept it, and he did it. He called their bluff, and then they still didn't take the fight. Kind of like what Fury and them did with Alexander Usyk when they tried to lowball him, and Usyk was like, "Yeah, I'll take it," and then they still didn't want the fight. So it's kind of interesting. David Benavidez and Andre Ward were saying they don't really think Canelo's scared, but it's like Andre Ward said, I think some fighters realize that this fighter has a bad style for me, which in a sense is still fear, because you're saying like, I fear losing and this guy has a bad style for me. So in a sense, that's still kind of fear, but not fear in the sense of like, oh, like, no, not him, not like that, but still fear. Watched an interesting interview with Jake Paul. For the first time, maybe in a while, we feel the same way about something. He picked Terrence Crawford to beat Canelo Alvarez. Now, a lot of people say, what does Jake Paul know? He's not a real fighter. Hey, that's who we picked, though. A lot of y'all ain't real fighters either, but you're picking Canelo. You know what I mean? What's up? Who are your picks for the main card this Saturday? Man, well, I definitely got Benavidez over Morrell. Don't know much about Morrell because my main thing is the heavyweights, but I like David Benavidez. He seems like a tough guy. He's disciplined. For him to lose all that weight, he was like 250 when he was a teenager, dropped all the way down. So I got him probably by decision. I'm not really sure who's on the undercard, though. I'm just not, I haven't heard about the undercard. Who you got, Benavidez or Morrell? If you guys have not checked out the face-off between Derek Chisora and Otto Wylien, if you guys need a good laugh, you might want to check that video out, because Derek Chisora, he was on that one, man, comparing himself to herpes, saying he pops up like herpes, like you can't get rid of him. Derek Chisora is something else, man, something else. Let me see what the comments are saying. Fulton versus Figueroa. I got Benavidez. Okay. Pitbull is on it also. Oh, Pitbull's on it, huh? I didn't know that. I didn't know Pitbull was on it. What's up? Puro's in the building, y'all. Go subscribe to my dude Puro. Am I facing the right way here? What's up, Puro? Who you got in the Benavidez Morrell fight, man? I got Benavidez. Oh, thanks, man, for letting me know. Yeah, because I'm got this thing on my screen. I'm trying to get it off. Make sure I'm faced the right way. Yeah, I got Benavidez. I don't know much about Morrell, but I thought it was pretty weak of him to throw the belt over at Benavidez. It was like, what is that? Benavidez said he thinks that's Morrell's way of getting out of the fight. You know, he's trying to throw the belt and try to injure him through that. He's like, why didn't he throw a punch at me? Why did he throw the belt at me? Chet Perry, glad you're on. Jay Roos, love after hour talks. Hey, what's up to you, man? Thanks for coming through. Yeah, man, I went to a buffet earlier, man. Goodness gracious. I thought I hadn't eaten too much. And then when I stood up, I was like, man, how much food did I just eat? Thought I was done for the night, but I wasn't. Ate some more, but I worked out too. Always get into workouts. We got Puro in the building. We got Chet Perry in the building. I appreciate y'all for coming through, man. But I like David Benavidez, man. He was talking about his diet and what he eats, and he was saying that if you buy anything if you eat anything that you didn't make, that it's not good for you. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I know what he's saying. You know, he makes some good points there. Said rooting for Benavidez, but too close to call. So Morrell is pretty good then, I guess, huh? So he's that dude. He's that dude, huh? I'm gonna have to go check him out then. I didn't know he was a G like that. What it do, player? Hey, what's up to you, man? What's up to you? The Mexican, that's the name right there. What it do? Who you got, man? You got Benavidez or you got Morrell? And why won't Canelo just fight Benavidez? Like, what's the problem, man? Get that fight popping. Guess he's got bigger fish to fry right now. I guess he's focused on Terrence Crawford. But I guess Morrell is no joke, man. I'm gonna have to check him out. But yeah, I kind of got off track. I was saying how that Del Boy, Derek Chisora, and Otto Eileen face-off was probably the funniest face-off I ever seen, man. Derek Chisora says the craziest things I've ever heard come out of a fighter's mouth, man. And he's constantly playing mind games with his opponents. He's constantly saying things he's basically making them answer the way he wants them to answer. It's like a form of mind control. And the people he's talking to don't even realize what he's doing. What did I eat tonight? Oh, man. At the buffet, I had like a crab salad. I had a steak. I had pasta. I didn't have no sweets except for like 2 glasses of sweet tea. Yeah, I was putting it down. I was like, man, I don't usually eat that much. I usually eat just 3 meals and a snack. But I had like, when you go to a buffet, you always try to get your money's worth. So I had like 2 plates, but you know, I was pretty full. But I still worked out after. I always get that in. Benavidez keeps his head on the man, let's see this. Benavidez keeps his head on the center line and can't do that with Morrell. Okay. Morrell was a good amateur. I am gonna have to check him out because from what I'm hearing with you guys, sounds like this Morrell dude is not to be slept on for Benavidez, man. I know they look to be about the same height, but he's fighting the Mexican monster. Mexican monster. Oh yeah, and I do believe Friday I'll be live again. Before I interviewed Ray Mercer, it was a taped interview, but we'll probably be going live Friday. Me and Ray Mercer, you guys can ask him some questions, about the current heavyweight division or the 90s heavyweights, the 80s heavyweights. And I'm hoping to get my boy Andrew Tucker on too, if he wants to join us, or Kurt, somebody else, if they want to join in. I think Morrell had like 200 amateur fights. Wow, are you serious? Definitely not new to the game. 200 amateur fights. Now that's a lot of fights. That's the thing I was talking about with Ray Mercer. He had I think he said 86 amateur fights and like 6 losses or something like that. So he didn't have a lot of wear and tear on the body. And I've heard of a lot of fighters that have so many amateur fights that by the time they get to the pro game, they're already burnt out. That's what happened to my buddy Daryl in San Diego. His dad had him playing Pop Warner and in high school and then college. By the time it was time to go to the pros, he was already burnt out. He was burnt out in Pop Warner because his dad kind of took the fun out of it for him. He was so militant with it. It's like it ain't even fun no more. Looking back on it, I'm sure it was fun, but at the time, it's like, oh man. I used to hate going to football practice. Just the smell of the grass would make me want to go home, man. I like playing in the games, but the practices were we had all these military coaches that just sit there and cuss at you all day. They're like, dude, we 12 years old. You out here cussing, man? Grown men cussing at 12-year-olds. It's like, man, that don't motivate me. I seen Benavidez has been getting tips from Andre Ward. Lots of knowledge can be taken from a veteran. Yeah, man. I saw that too. Andre Ward was giving him some pointers about how to use his jab and stuff. Looks like Andre Ward is getting ready for a comeback. Kurt just put out a video, Counterpunch Boxing News, a couple minutes ago about Andre Ward. He's punching the bag, and sounds like he and Prince Turkey are working on something. So Andre Ward might be having a comeback. I was never a big Andre Ward guy though, because he just don't have that power. So if there's no threat of knocking out your opponent, I kind of have a hard time getting into your fights. I like watching guys that have power. If you can box, that's great, but just the ability to box without no power is kind of a snooze fest. You know what I'm saying? Some of those coaches are insecure men trying to live through kids. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you talking about the football coaches? Yeah, dude, we's out there 12 years old getting cussed at, running miles, didn't want to give us no water. I went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, man, that's so old and archaic for coaches to feel like you shouldn't drink no water while you're running. You sitting out there running in 100 degrees with no water. Them dudes didn't know what they was doing. Them dudes didn't have a clue. I had a coach named, what was that dude's name? What was his name? Oh man, I don't know how I forgot his name, but that dude was on me, man. He made me quarterback. I was like a Michael Vick, though. I was even number 7 in black and red like Atlanta, but it was the Chula Vista Aztecs. But my receivers were so slow. The minute I dropped back to pass, somebody was in my face, so I had to take off. I'm juking people running down the sidelines, and yeah, I had skills, man. But them coaches, boy, that was his name, Coach Mosley. Man, that dude was on me heavy, man. That dude would just look at me and start cussing. I'm like, what is this? What is this dude's problem, man? I don't get motivated by a dude dropping F bombs on me. I'm like, bro, I'm 12 years old. Like, they talking to you like grown men and stuff. It was like, I was like, man, I thought I liked football till I got out here. Dude was sitting up here cussing at me, man. I know, man. It's crazy, ain't it? 12 years old getting cussed at. I remember my first day of practice. I'm like, are they really talking to us like that? Like, and this is before like WA. This was like 1984, 85. So, and my family wasn't no cussing family. My family was all believers. So we didn't have cussing like that. So when I went out there and it sounded like Andrew Dice Clay was coaching us, I was like, what in the world did I just step into? What in the world did I just step into? I wrestled in high school, but my coaches were cool. Only time they yelled at me was to encourage me to do better. See, that's what's up. See, if it's encouraging, man, that's actually motivating. That's like inspiring. Yeah, that's different. I don't mind that, man. You know what's crazy though? He was cool during the games. Like I remember I had this big game against Balboa, not Balboa, Mira Mesa. I had like 2 touchdowns and I was breaking tackles and ran for one like 40 yards. And I came to the sideline. Nah, that's the game we blew them out. But there was a game where we were getting blasted and I was doing pretty good. And the coach told me, you don't deserve to play on this team. Like, you're too good. So I was like, wow, he finally said something nice to me. I was surprised. I tell you, man. I even see coaches in the NFL that just go around cussing at grown men. It's like, dude, these are grown men getting paid millions and you're cussing at them. That's why I like Tony Dungy. He never cussed. Y'all gonna watch the Super Bowl with the Kansas City refs? I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs. And man, I don't want to see that, man. I'm so sick of the NFL, man. It's like WWE on grass, man. You don't know which games are legit and which ones aren't. Like, come on, man. Ask Ray Mercer if he thinks Mike Tyson threw that fight. Yeah, that's a good point. I need to ask him that. And ask Ray Mercer if he. I showed up twice. Yeah, I need to ask Ray Mercer that because Jake Paul still denying that the fight was fixed. Jake Paul talking about he took it easy on Mike. He said he hit him with a punch and he saw Mike's eyes roll up in his head, so he kind of went light. Stop. Jake, stop, dude. Reel it in, man. You caught us all slipping. We thought we were gonna get a legitimate pro fight. Instead, we got a choreographed exhibition. I don't know what Jake is talking about. I remember Ray Mercer knocked out that MMA fighter. Yeah, I was watching that too the other day. Wasn't it like the first punch Ray Mercer threw? Yeah, Ray Mercer, that dude was tough, man. Like I said, if you guys ever want to see an action-packed fight that's like a Rocky movie, go check out Ray Mercer versus Smoking Burt Cooper. You will not be disappointed. Ray Mercer versus Burt Cooper. Thank me later. Full of action, back and forth. And Ray said on my show that Burt Cooper was his sparring partner, so they knew each other well. So when it came time to fight under the lights, it was a war because he knew Burt and Burt knew him. Burt Cooper was a tough fighter, man. Knocked Evander Holyfield down in Atlanta when Holyfield was supposed to fight Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson got locked up. Bert Cooper stepped in, and they fought in Atlanta. And Bert Cooper had Holyfield out on his feet for a second. You know, I think that's the first time Holyfield had been in trouble. Bert Cooper gave everybody fights. Michael Moore, Ray Mercer. Who else did Bert Cooper fight? That was a tough dude, man. He was like a bigger version of Joe Frazier. I think that's why he got the name Smoking Bert Cooper. I think the Fraziers had taken them under their wing. Yup, that dropped that boy in the first round. Yeah, I feel like not watching it. The the calls are ridiculous in favor of the Chiefs. Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, the NFL is getting real. I've seen plays where quarterbacks get almost decapitated and there's no flag, and then you just touch Patrick Mahomes and flag. Like, dude, if y'all don't put them yellow bandanas back in your pockets, Chiefs are making the NFL unwatchable, and I don't know what the NFL's thinking. Don't they realize that people are on to the con? You can go on Instagram and see everybody breaking down how these refs are directing the games. That's why I call them the Kansas City refs. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I don't know at what point the NFL became sports entertainment instead of real games. Did I what? Oh, did I think Mike Tyson threw that fight? Is what you're saying, Chet? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I could look at his expression coming to the ring. He looked depressed and conflicted, like he didn't know if he wanted to go through with it. I mean, think about it. Let's break this down for a second. Let's go back to the weigh-in the day before. Do you remember how fast Mike Tyson slapped Jake Paul and moved back? He slapped him and got out the way. No knee brace or nothing. Very next day, he's going to the ring stumbling with a knee brace on, and he's just walking around like a robot, biting his glove. In one day, you mean to tell me he got old in one day? Now, they always say a fighter can get old overnight, but I've personally never seen it. That's another wives' tale. I've never seen a fighter get old overnight, so I'm not buying it with the Mike Tyson fight. And even leading up to it, certain things he would say at the press conference where he was laughing, and I just ignored it. But I'm like, he don't seem like the normal Mike here. But when he slapped him, I got tricked. I was like, oh, this the Mike I remember. Nah, it was all for show, man. Even Sylvester Stallone called him out on that, on Jake Paul. I know Michael Spinks was on Vlad Chet, but I didn't actually see the interview. I'm gonna have to check it out. Was it worth watching? Spinks said Holyfield and Tyson were using steroids. I don't think Mike was, because he was just a big kid. Even at 12, he was built like a grown man. I think if Mike had been on steroids, he would have been around like 250 because he was naturally muscular. Now, people have been saying that about Holyfield for years, because you remember how he came up from, I think, light heavyweight to cruiserweight to heavyweight, and he still kept that chiseled physique. And then you remember when he got up to heavyweight, he almost instantly went bald. He had a full head of hair, and then he lost it all. So people have been saying that for years. He denies it. So, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but I know one of the signs of steroids is balding. And for him to move up to heavyweight and not have an ounce of fat on him, visually, everybody has fat, but for you not to see any fat and he's moving up to heavyweight is kind of highly unlikely. Plus, he's been trained by Lee Haney, His strength and conditioning coach for a while was Lee Haney, the former Mr. Universe or whatever bodybuilder. He's here in Atlanta too. So, makes you wonder. Really makes you wonder. But Tyson, I don't think Tyson was on roids, man. That dude would have looked like the Incredible Hulk. Everybody's going to be testing Mike now. Yeah, ain't that sad, man? And Mike gave that weird interview before the Jake Paul fight too, where that little girl was interviewing him and asking him about legacy. And he's like, I don't care about legacy. He's like, okay, that was a red flag right there. If he doesn't care about legacy, why does he visit Jack Johnson's grave? Why are you paying homage to somebody that had a big career if legacy doesn't matter to you? It's like he was basically saying, I'm about to throw this fight and I hope you don't you don't call me on it. Don't remember what you're about to see. Newsflash, Mike, we remember it. I made all them videos talking about what you're gonna do to Jake Paul. And I had to eat crow, homie. So yeah, we're calling you on it, Mike. You threw the fight, allegedly. Mike Tyson can't beat Jake Paul if they don't stop. Mike Tyson was throwing lightning fast combos and moving quickly. Then all of a sudden on fight night, Jake Paul hit so hard he just can't do nothing. Like, man. And I interviewed Mike Tyson's sparring partner to get him ready for the Roy Jones fight and the Jake Paul fight. A fighter out of Fresno, California named Jet Blackwell. And Mike Tyson knocked out his front tooth. And this guy's younger than Jake Paul. I think he's like 23. So you're telling me Mike Tyson is handling 23-year-olds and sparring with headgear, but now when he fights Jake Paul, he's just like, man, Jake is just so great. I don't know what to do. Stop. You might be selling it, MVP, but I ain't buying it. I don't want to see no more Jake Paul's fights unless it is someone that's current like Canelo. Yep, Mike responded that way because he knew he had every intention of selling out his legacy. That's exactly what he did, man. It's almost like life. You can live a great life, make one mistake, and just jack everything up. And that's kind of what Mike Tyson did, There's about 800 Mike Tyson documentaries. Everyone kind of embraced him back into the public when he made The Hangover and did that and hit that dude. Everyone's like, oh, Mike is back. We love Mike. Did that little one-man show on Broadway where the public's embracing Mike, and then he does something stupid like taking money for a dive. And what's so stupid about it, too, he said he is the #1 weed dispensary in the world and he don't need the money. So if you don't need the money, why fight a rigged fight? Why? Lennox Lewis wouldn't do that. I believe Evander Holyfield's not even that financially well off right now. He wouldn't do that. Come on, Mike. Come on, man. As Ed Lover used to say, come on, son. Come on, son. But we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Any weight division. I just have to know what you guys talking about, My main division is the big boys, the heavyweights. You know what I mean? Man, there's a lot of trucks in Atlanta. Golly, man. Don't you guys hate driving and you get behind a diesel? You'd be like in a hurry. and there's a truck going like 5 miles an hour, man. I'm like, oh man. You switch lanes, there's another truck. You're like, dude, Atlanta is like the uh the home of truckers now or something. You think Wilder should retire? No, I think he should still fight. If he gets knocked out again, he should call it a day. Who you got, Figueroa or Fulton? Probably Figueroa. Probably. Yeah. Guess I'll take him. Who you got, Puro? I think it's terrible. It's a terrible idea for him to step in the ring again. You talking about Mike Tyson or Jake Paul or both? Sup, man? You catch the BKFC last weekend? What's up to you, man? Nah, I didn't catch that. Bare knuckle fighting? Nah, I didn't catch that. Oh, you got Figgy too? That's what's up. Figgy. Figgy, Figgy, Figgy. Can't you see? Virgil or Madrimov? Ooh, they're fighting. I didn't even know they were fighting. Uh, wow. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say Madrimov. I didn't even know they were fighting. Come on, Jay Roos, get your act together. You should know they're fighting. There's no excuse for me not to know they're fighting. Fulton is damaged goods. He got whooped like a stepchild in his last fight. Whooped like a stepchild, man. So he got hands put on him, huh? Man, I was watching highlights of Ray Mercer and Tommy Morrison. Man, that's to this day one of the most brutal knockouts I've ever seen. That referee in that fight should be permanently barred for letting that fight go on, man. Morrison was out on his feet for like 8 seconds, still taking headshots, man. That was ridiculous, dude. That was ridiculous. I mean, those are the kind of punches that dudes are never the same after that kind of. I remember Tommy Morrison said he couldn't even watch the replay because I mean he felt that that can have a psychological that can psychologically damage you if you're a fighter. You see something like that or you even go through it. How's that not on your mind in every fight after that? Like, dude, I got my head kicked in. Anytime a guy starts throwing flurries, you're like, oh shoot, is it about to happen again? I think that's what happens to Anthony Joshua. I think anytime a guy starts throwing flurries, he gets flashbacks to that Andy Ruiz first fight and he panics. And he's just got to keep his head movement and keep his guard up, and he'll be all right. Like he did against Jermaine Franklin. Kept his guard up and he was all right. When he fought Daniel Dubois, the hands were way too low. Zhang or Kabayel? I got Kabayel, man. That dude's a G. Zhang's a G too, but I got Kabayel. I think his body punches and his activity will outwork Zhang, and I think he'll hurt Zhang to the body. Don't think he'll knock him down or out, but I think he'll outwork him. He must have not liked Morrison. Yeah, there was something leading up to that fight. I think where Bob Arum told Ray Mercer that Tommy Morrison would be getting more money because he was white, and I think Ray Mercer was like, "Point taken." There's an interview I saw some about that. Mercer Morrison was worse than Tua Ruiz. Oh yeah, I forgot about that Tua Ruiz, man. That was brutal. Yeah, it was the Morrison one was worse because he took so many just punches like while he was falling. The one with the Tua and Ruiz is kind of like Tua just took him out, boom, 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 done. The ref didn't really have time to step in and stop that. Gets PTSD whenever he sees a Mexican standing in front of the Home Depot. Who gets PTSD? I got Big Bang by 5th round KO. Oh, wow. You guys heard it here first. Puro says, he says AJ. AJ gets PTSD whenever he sees a Mexican standing in front of the Home Depot. Oh, wow. Stay away from Home Depots, AJ. But Puro said he got Big Bang by 5th round KO. Wow, y'all heard it here first. I mean, I'm not going to be surprised if Zhang knocks out anybody, dude. That dude is heavy-handed, and his speed is kind of underrated too, man. I've seen him hit the heavy bag. I'm like, oh, this dude's pretty fast. He's got that like sneaky speed. And weighing 280, you don't want to face a puncher with speed, man. And he can take a punch. Yeah, Zhang is no joke. Biggest boxing upset. Gigi, what's up to you? Biggest boxing upset, in my opinion, would have to be, I would say, Buster Douglas versus Mike Tyson and Oliver McCall versus Lewis, the first one. Yeah. Maybe Hasim Rockman, Lewis, the first one. That's a great question, though, Gigi. What's your biggest boxing upset? I know there's been a lot. Some people used to say AJ Ruiz, but I knew going into that fight, I even did videos. I said Ruiz might be the toughest guy that AJ's fought to this point, so I wasn't sleeping on Andy. Boots or Stay? Yeah, I don't even know who that other dude is, man. So I'm gonna just say Boots. I'm gonna take the safe route and say Boots. I know Boots didn't look too great in his last fight, though. Munguia is a recent upset nobody was expecting. Yeah, I like to see upsets, though. It kind of keeps the upsets kind of keep the sport afloat, you know. If everything gets too predictable, it gets kind of dull, and it's like boxing runs out of steam when fighter A is supposed to win and he keeps winning. I like to see upsets every now and then. Keeps things fresh and keeps everybody on their toes. I hope AJ Wilder and Jarrell announce their next opponent soon. Yeah, that would be nice, man. We keep talking about who they should fight, but nobody's stepping up to the plate. Although I was kind of surprised Munguia wasn't stopped a lot sooner. He's always been a very flawed fighter. I'm going to have to check him out. Prime Foreman versus Prime. Hey, thanks for the dough, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for real. Prime Foreman versus Prime Abeabuchi. Man, I'm gonna have to go with Big George, man. Only because George, I'm talking about the George, the older Foreman. Now, Ike probably would have beat the younger Foreman, but the older Foreman never hit the canvas. And even his training regimen was crazy. I seen that dude pulling diesels uphill with a rope tied around his waist. So, yeah, I got George. I think as great as Ike Abeabuchi was, I think Foreman had the little more power than Ike Abeabuchi. There was a guy that came into my comment sections a while back that sparred with George Foreman, and he said Foreman's jab was like an overhand right. Even George Foreman himself said he had the kind of punches that could damage your brain. Foreman has that big old farm boy power, man. Beabucci could punch, but not on the level of George Foreman. But let me see. Let me get your name right. Gaz, I hope I'm saying your name right. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for the love. I really appreciate that. That was a great question, man. Because Ike Beabucci's having a comeback. I did a video about it. He's supposed to fight Tommy Morrison's son, Kenzie Morrison. I'm not sure when, but Kenzie Morrison is pretty tough. Looks a lot like his dad. So hope that fight is televised, you know. As far as I know, I think Ike Beabucci is still in Nigeria, maybe. President Ike Beabucci against Big George Foreman. Y'all see the George Foreman movie? I thought it was pretty interesting. I didn't really think the guy they had playing for him really looked like him in the face, you know, but he did a good job. Like Lawrence Fishburne didn't look anything like Ike from the movie What's Love Got to Do with It. Angela Bassett didn't look anything like Tina Turner, but they pulled it off. You know, I think Wesley Snipes probably looked more like Ike Turner than Lawrence Fishburne, but Lawrence Lawrence did his thing in that movie. Remember the scene with the cake? Eat the cake. He's gonna make Tina eat that cake. Oh, this cake real good. This cake good. This cake real good. It's wrong how they did Ike in that movie too. There's a lot of things they left out trying to make him look like he was a monster. Shame on them. How you gonna make a biography about somebody and start adding false things to it? If it's a biography, you got to make it truthful. You can't make it slanted. Oh, well, we're trying to blow Tina Turner up, so we're gonna make her look like she was innocent and make Ike look like he was a monster. Stop. Stop it. Stop it. The old era is the best, man. So many tough cookies. Mercer, McCall, Beabucci, Tua, Holyfield. Yep. You keep an eye on any of the Kiwi heavyweights other than Parker, Hemi, Ohio, Kiki, Toa, Lutella. What's that guy? Temaru, something like that. Now I don't know those other guys you just named, but I'm gonna have to when this video goes off, it's gonna be posted. for people to watch later. So leave those names in the comment section so I can remember them and go check them out. Because I've known a lot of Samoans in San Diego, and they're the nicest people I've ever met to this day. I mean, look at Joseph Parker and David Tua, man. Those dudes are like real humble and nice, and it's almost hard to believe they're fighters. So Samoans are some tough people, man. Real big too. Some people used to think I was Samoan. Yeah, the '90s had a big roster, man. A lot of fighters, man. Even the next class of heavyweights, people like Joe Hip, like Bert Cooper, all them dudes are tough, man. Michael Moore, uh, Henry Akinwande. Bro, watch highlights of Hooney versus. Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm gonna have to check that out. I was watching a highlight reel of David Tua, man, and it looked more impressive than Mike Tyson's highlight reel. Can you imagine a fight between David Tua and Mike Tyson? I asked Ray Mercer how he thought a fight would have gone with he and David Tua, and man, that would have been electric, man. Mercer versus Tua. Tua was so stocky that there was not much area to hit, man. You try to go to his body and you're going to pay for it drastically. Remember how quick David Tua knocked out Michael Moore? It's right up your alley. Best NZL street fight of the last 10 years. Man, I'm going to have to check that out. I'm going to have to check that out for real. I love watching great fights, man. Just made you a moderator, Gas. Hope I'm saying your name right. So if you see any weirdo trolls come through, send them back into population, man, Population. Send them to the block party. I hadn't realized up until recently how many sick and deranged Canelo fans there are out there. And man, they just think because you pick another guy to beat Canelo that you got some hate for Canelo. Canelo's a great fighter. Just because I think somebody's gonna beat him don't mean I don't like the guy. AJ's my favorite heavyweight, but I said Usyk would win the rematch. Does that mean I hate AJ? Absolutely not. AJ just got blasted by Dubois, still my favorite heavyweight. Chargers just lost in the playoffs, still my favorite team. I don't switch up on people because they take a L. I'm loyal. I don't care nothing about baseball, this like MLB either. I don't really, just represent San Diego. But what other fights are coming up? Of course, we got Bacoli. We talked about that versus Caballero. Jared Anderson, I forget who he's supposed to fight. Deontay Wilder's supposed to have a fight here in Atlanta in April against the guy that ran out the ring against F.A. Jagba. Oh yeah, we got a Jagba versus did I say Bacoli versus? No, we don't. It's not Bacoli versus Cavayo. It's Zhang versus Cavayo, and Bacoli versus who's Bacoli fighting? I just forgot that quick. Oh, F.A. Jagba, and I got Bacoli big in that one. Jay Roos, which brand of gloves do you use? Um, I like puncher's gloves, man. So probably Reyes or that's a good question. Grant's pretty good, you know. I kind of like the Grant gloves. You need a glove that's gonna, you know, if you can punch, you need a glove that's gonna really protect your hands, you know. Make sure when you throw them shots, you're not messing up your hands. So the glove that's got padding on it, but not so much padding that your opponent is like, "Oh, thanks for hitting me with that pillow." It's a great question, man. No one's ever asked me that. But there's so many brands out there now, man. Some remember they used to make them out of horsehair and leather, and it's like, wow, horsehair. Oh, I wonder who thought of that. Michael B. Jordan, if you're watching this, put me in Creed 4, man. I don't care if I'm just some dude that you get to beat up. Just give me in Creed, man. Bring Stallone back to it too, and don't make that Drago movie without Stallone. Erwin Winkler. We do not want to see any Drago movie that Stallone is not a part of. How are you gonna take his franchise and not let him be a part of it? That's whack, dude. That's whack, and you know it. Greed is a greed is something else, man. Y'all hear? I did a video about it. Devin Haney trying to diss Sylvester Stallone, and then came back and talked about y'all. He liked Stallone and Rocky. I think his dad called him up and was like, "Hey man, there's a ain't Devin Haney and Bill from the Bay Area?" So I think Bill uh, got Devin on the phone. Was like, "Hey man, there's a lot of people from the Bay involved in the Rocky movies." Carl Weathers played for the Oakland Raiders at the time when they were from Oakland, even though he went to San Diego State. Of course, Ryan Coogler is from the Bay, and he made the Creed movies. And Andre Ward, he's in the Creed movies. He's from the Bay, so he's probably like, "Hey man, don't be dissing Rocky in the Creed movies, man. He might want a spot in the Rocky movies when his career's over." Because if he keeps fighting like he's been fighting, and his career might be over real soon, and he might want to holler at Ryan Coogler and Sylvester Stallone and be like, "Hey, put me in a movie. These fake fights are a little safer for me than these real fights, you know." So he might want to chill on the dissing of Sylvester Stallone and the Rocky franchise. That franchise been going strong since the '70s. Will your career last that long in boxing, Mr. Haney? Absolutely not. When am I linking up next with Kurt? We were supposed to link up the other week. He was live, and then he sent me the link, but every time I click it, it wasn't working. So hopefully soon, man. Yeah, hopefully I can be on Counterpunch Boxing News, or he can come over to the J Roos Theory or my backup platform in WJ, where I'm a little more controversial. If you haven't subscribed to in WJ, go over there. There's a couple other in WJ. So if you want to find me, just type in WJ Boxing and you'll find me. I talk about other things over there that I don't talk about over here. Might start a Patreon at some point, like Kurt, because you're a little more free over there, from what I understand. That's a shame that you can't just say what you want. That's like being on the phone and somebody telling you can't talk about that. Difference does it make what I talk about? We don't have to always agree, but that's the way of the world. Like John Mayer said, waiting on the world to change. Good luck with that one. Go check out my interviews playlist too, and check out all the interviews I've done. I've interviewed people, and I've been interviewed. I've been interviewed by BWTM Sports and Gaming, Dusty Vision TV. You can check all that out on my interviews playlist here on the J. Roos Theory. Who you guys got between Joseph Parker and Daniel Dubois? And if you guys saw the face-off, what did you think of that? I thought it was a little interesting exchange Andy Lee had with Daniel Dubois when he asked Dubois, like, when you got hit by a jab and you went down, what was going through your head? Like, he was basically saying that quitter is still in there and we're going to bring it out. Don Charles nowhere around, man. Instead, it was Frank Warren. Where was Don Charles, man? Because I think Don would have fired back with some, because Don seems to be one that holds grudges, and Don seems like it doesn't take much to set him off. So that would have been interesting to see Andy Lee and Don Charles go back and forth. But I originally thought Dubois would win, but now I got Joseph Parker. Daniel Dubois' head is all over the place. He's talking about fighting everybody, and Joseph Parker ain't the dude you want to sleep on, man. Can't sleep on anybody, but especially not someone of his caliber. And he's put on muscle too, so he's gonna be moving and hitting Daniel with that jab. And I never liked Daniel's defense. You saw how many right hands that Hrgovic hit him with. I don't like that elbows out. Got to tuck your elbows. Parker by late TKO. I think Dubois might quit. Miller and Hrgovic didn't come in shape. Yeah, Parker gonna come in strong. Yeah, exactly, man. I think you can frustrate Daniel Dubois with just a jab, and I don't know why AJ didn't. I think AJ started feeling himself after that Ngannou knockout. So AJ could have just frustrated Daniel Dubois with a jab. You saw Daniel quit against Usyk from a jab. So, and I do believe, even though Joshua lost to Usyk, I do believe Joshua has a better jab than Usyk, stronger jab. So if he could just use that reach and pop Daniel's head back constantly, it would negate that coming in with power shots too. Just jab, keep your guard up, move your head, jab, keep your guard up, win the fight easily. Put on a clinic like he did in the second Ruiz fight. You ain't got to overthink it and I'm going to land this right and this left hook. Just win it with the jab and go about your business, man. Fighters sometimes make fights harder than they have to be by not using the jab. Ray Mercer had a great jab. Lennox Lewis had a great jab. George Foreman had a great jab. Mike Tyson had a great jab that people don't realize. Mike Tyson had a very fast jab, man. If he doubled up and tripled up on that jab, he would give some guys some problems. It's just we look at the highlight reels and we don't really notice the jab of Mike Tyson. Jay, how do you see Waleed Chisora going? Just a second, y'all. I do believe. I think Del Boy got that. The way he was just kind of talking to Otto Waleed like he's a chump is the same way he did Joe Joyce. You know, he keeps telling these dudes they ain't got it in them, and he's controlling their mind. It seems like during the face-off. So I think I don't think Waleed ever recovered from that beating AJ gave him. You know, in fact, I talked about it already that Del Boy told him, man, if it hadn't been for the rope, you would have tried to run out the building when AJ hit you. So I don't think Waleed is mentally back yet because he talked a lot of stuff when he was about to fight AJ. He was talking a lot of trash and talking about AJ's mind, and now his mind doesn't look too sound. I saw him take a couple gulps of saliva when he was staring at Derek Chisora like he was nervous. And yeah. So I got Chisora by knockout. I think Chisora's gonna bust him up. And it's like Chisora told him, we're not boxing. We're gonna fight. We're gonna fight. He said it ain't gonna be no jab and then you move. No, he's gonna bust him up like a bar fight. And I believe he's gonna do it too. I do believe Del Boy's gonna do it. He's like he said, he's like herpes, man. He just won't go away. He pops up like herpes. Crazy analogy, but one that Derek Chisora gave. I told you Derek Chisora is one of those unhinged dudes that just come up to you and say something random like, hey man, what's your favorite color? Oh yeah, you like red? Why do you like red? Why not blue? Blue's good too. You don't like blue? Well, I don't like you. He's one of them type of dudes where you like, okay, man, you kind of something ain't clicking, dude. I know one thing. If I had been doing the face-off with Derek Chisora, I would have controlled the narrative. I wouldn't have let him direct how I answer. Like, what's your favorite? This I'd be like, dude, don't ask me no questions. I'm gonna ask you some questions. What round you think you're gonna lay down in? Because I'm gonna knock you silly. I don't know, like, what's these dudes be? How you gonna be a fighter and be intimidated like that? Where you just answer his question? It's like Chisora was keeping him on the back foot in the face-off. So if he keeps him on the back foot in the face-off, what you think he's gonna do in the ring? Very disappointed in Otto Waleed's performance in that face-off. Oh shoot, we got Andrew Tucker in the building, y'all. I said, big bro, can you send the link? Let me see if I can do that. 1 second, y'all. 1 second. Let me see if I know what I'm doing here. Do. How do you send a link? Wait, let me see. How do you send a link, y'all? Let me see something. Okay, here it is. I figured it out. I'm gonna send the link to your Instagram. Wait, what did I just do? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna send it to your Instagram. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, y'all. Yeah, I think I sent you the link, man. I think it went through. Sent it to your Instagram, I do believe. Let me see something. Because I'm not on StreamYard. I know to do that a little easier. I never sent a link out for the YouTube live, so I gotta figure out how to bring you on once you click the link, I guess, or maybe you'll just appear on your own, maybe. Hopefully. Technology, y'all. We got Andrew Tucker in the building, y'all. Got that Tucker Army about to drop some boxing knowledge. You might have to coach me on this one, Andrew, on what I do. Like the link. Like I said, I know how to do it on StreamYard, but on here, I haven't done it before. Hopefully, I can figure it out. Should have brought some lemon water is what I should have done. I really like lemon water, y'all. Sounds like some Chisora would have asked Wally, do you like lemon water? Yeah, do you? Why aren't you drinking it now then? You're gonna need some lemon water on fight night, my friend. Chisora is, man. That dude's wild. That's a wild boy right there. Instead of Del Boy, he should be called Wild Boy. Let's see. Did the link work, Mr. Tucker? Or did I do something wrong? Or is there something I'm not doing right now? Excuse me for the learning on the job, y'all. I think win or lose for Dell, we get Chisora versus White for his final 50th fight. That would, yeah, I think we will get that fight. I don't know if Dillian White is too big on it. I think Dillian wants AJ. I think he thinks AJ's there for the pickings now. But that might be Del Boy's final fight, you know? Andrew, if you can hear me, let me know if you got that link. And if so, you might have to write on the screen what I have to do to bring you on. Nah, man. Tucker Army, stand up. Oh, let's see what you said. You said, hey, big bro. It was the link to the channel. Are you on StreamYard? No, I was just on YouTube Live. Let's see. Maybe I can maybe I'll log off here and do StreamYard and bring you on like that. So everybody watching, I'm gonna log off this one and do it over, bring it on StreamYard. That way I can bring on my boy Tucker a little easier. So thanks for watching. LSR forever and be fearless, y'all. Thanks for watching. Yay.